so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna play the little sound bowl. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the My Virgo Friend podcast. Your host, CheChe. I am back. My bad. I took a little hiatus for a couple of weeks, but I'm back, you guys. Pisces sweet season swept me under, okay? I got a little Invisalign in my mouth now, so I'm starting to talk with a little lisp. Shout out to everybody with a lisp. I'm starting to feel what you feel now, okay? Welcoming back in Aries season, you guys. We are officially in Aries season, fire sign, and I have a hot, spicy guest with me today, Coco, the Conversational Freak. Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be on your show. CheChe.
Good. Yes. Could you come closer by chance? Because I hear you, but it's just a little distant.
Oh, it's probably the computer.
Oh, there we go. That's better. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So Coco, tell us who you are. Who is Coco, the Conversational Freak?
Well, if you need to know. So Coco, the Conversational Freak is me. I am Coco. I call myself the superintendent of sexual confidence. Why? Because I teach women to take care of their own desires and needs first, so that they can be better partners for themselves first, and then their lovers and their outside relationships.
Okay. Nice. So, again, thank you so much for being here and making time. I really appreciate it. You said, the superintendent of sexual confidence, correct? What's your why? Like, how did you get into it? What was your inspiration?
So honestly, there was no real like, oh, you know what? I want to be. It was more like I had all these sexual traumas that I dealt with as a teen that kind of
Mm-hmm.
snowballed into my young adult life. And
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship that did not serve me, but being blinded by, you know, sexual trauma and wanting to be accepted, I finally just decided, let me just go on like a solo trip. And that was the first time that I was able to be in a space where every single decision that I made was based off of what I wanted to do, not my friend, not my boyfriend, not my parents. Every
Mm-hmm.
decision was mine. And it was such a powerful feeling for me that I literally came back and like the man that I thought I was going to marry and have all his babies, I was just
Uh-huh.
like, this ain't gonna work. I'm gonna need
Mm-hmm.
some. And it was so shocking for me that I bawled my eyes out, but it was almost like a sense of relief.
Yeah.
And then from there on, I'm like, wow, being able, and then I went through my whole phase, but that's a whole different story.
Oh, let's go. Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Well, then I went into like a phase where I was just trying to discover who I am and what I like, because I
Yeah.
realized I didn't really know what that was without there being a second voice or a second opinion. So then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how many other women kind of feel this way? So then it just started off with conversations about sex, and I just fell in love with like just the process. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this. This is
Yes.
my life calling.
Yes, I love that you specified that you fell in love with the process, because that just shows it was from the heart, and it's like a labor of love in a sense, right? And it just speaks to people living passionately and doing what they love and doing literally what comes natural to them, right? Instead of trying to force a career path or force this being, just be, instead of trying to force this title, and working a job that you don't like live your passion. And Coco, I forgot to ask you, what is your sign? Do you happen to know your sun sign and your big three by chance, like your moon and rising?
So
Uh-oh.
I'm an Aquarius.
Nice.
My moon is in Scorpio.
Oh, like
I don't
Beyonce.
know what the other stuff is, but I know those two.
Mm.
So,
Do you know
I,
your rising?
I just started getting into this, and
Okay.
I don't know.
I think it says a lot, though, that we know that you're an Aquarius sun, because
Mhm.
Aquarius is considered very unconventional, very non-traditional, very humanitarian. I want to help the people. In your case, you want to help the women, reach their sexual peak, really reach their sexual confidence, that fulfillment, and just doing what other people may find, where they may be fearful and not liberating themselves. You're like, fuck it, let me show you the way, let me
Yeah.
show you how to be liberated. And then the Scorpio moon, I could see that with you, of course, being the sexual being that you are. Okay. Scorpios are considered to be one of the most sexual of the zodiac, next to Aries and Virgo. Shout out to the Virgos and Aries. But yeah, with the Scorpio moon, I could see, because your moon sign represents your emotions, and usually it's typically what you don't show the world. It's like not your shadow self, but your shadow self, like, the how you process your emotions, your heart. So yeah, with Scorpio energy, it's all about going deep, dark, and really pulling that out, like tapping in a sense.
Actually, my sun, I think my rising, if I'm not mistaken, is Capricorn.
Oh, nice.
So,
Capricorn is earth sign.
ironically, my ex was a Capricorn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the one that you went through the turmoil with?
Yes. So he's
Hey.
Capricorn, and my current boyfriend is a Scorpio.
So he speaks to your moon sign.
So before I had met him, I was talking to someone else who was a Scorpio, and I don't know what it is. I realized when it's a Scorpio man, I just gravitate towards them. It's always so bummed. I'm just like, as soon as they say Scorpio, I'm like, just know I'm in love with you.
Yes. I love Scorpio. I have a lot of male Scorpio friends. I never had a Scorpio as a lover. My daddy is a Scorpio. Shout out to the Scorpio men listening in. But I've never experienced sexually or in love a Scorpio man. But I've heard great things. Cheers to that. Oh, this is what I want to say. So, Coco, in my show, we do cheers, right? So we'll toast, but I want us to do toast and Kegels. So every time we toast, we do a little, like a Kegel, like a little vagina high five.
Yeah, like
So cheers to the Scorpio man.
How?
And okay, so your big three: Aquarius. Shout out to the Aquariuses listening, as well as the Libras and Geminis, air signs, the fires: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, water babies, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and of course the Earth gang: Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Cheers, cheers to y'all. Cheers. Do a Kegel squeeze as well.
I already did like 5.
Exactly. Keep it going. So while we're on the topic of Kegels and squeezing, what are Kegels? Because I know some women have no idea what they are. So, and then some guys are confused, like, Kegels, what is that? So what are Kegels?
They're probably like, she's just sitting there and she just said she did 5. Did 5 of what?
Oh, exactly. You'll never know.
Ooh, tongue-tied. Kegels are basically exercises that you do to work and strengthen your pelvic muscles. So the same muscles that you use to kind of hold your pee when you really, really have to go.
Yes.
You don't only use that muscle when you really have to go. You can also use that same energy and the same muscles to just do Kegels. So what you want to do is pretend you have to pee, and then just kind of just squeeze. Hold for. I typically hold for a few seconds, because it's just everything in your body that's a muscle. I always relate it to working out.
Yeah.
When you're repping out, you're building, you're toning. It's the same thing. So just constantly repping and toning your Kegel muscles, because it helps strengthen your pelvic floor, especially for the moms out there when you have a baby, pushing out that wonderful 8
bundle of joy,
7 to 9 pounds of beautiful life.
To the pregnant women.
And a lot of women say, like, after they have a baby, they experiencing like that, they'll laugh and like they'll pee a little bit. It's because your pelvic floor, has weakened a little bit. So doing those can help strengthen that muscle.
Okay. And in regards to doing Kegels, how often would you say? Is that a daily thing? More than daily? About how many would you say?
What the beautiful thing about Kegels is you can do it anywhere for as long as you want. I say,
yeah,
every day, because
all day.
And it's something that you can just be like, you know what? You could be thinking about dick and it's just like, oh, let me strengthen my muscle for that dick. You know what I mean?
Give me a quick massage.
Of like, ooh, let me strengthen those muscles. It's just men go to the gym before they go to the club, because what happens is when you go to the gym, your muscles get pumped up. So when they wear that shirt, they look bigger.
They look fuller, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the secret.
Just like when they wear them hats.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my hat because my edges ain't done.
But you look good. Now, who's the porn star? The guy that used to always wear the hat back in the day? Mr.
Oh,
Marcus.
oh my
That's what
God.
I think of when I see dudes with hats. Tall,
Fun.
dark skinned dudes with hats.
I've never seen Mr. Marcus porn.
You what?
I've never seen Mr. Marcus porn. And
He's
I've
an OG. Like he was out with like Pinky and them.
yeah, you see Pinky and I know them, but like my boyfriend would be like, "Oh yeah, just like Mr. Marcus." I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what to imagine because I've never seen it.
Think like
Now I gotta go and watch it.
yeah, just yeah.
I gotta go watch it.
You have to at this point, you know? Okay, so Kegel squeezing, so we're strengthening the pelvic floor. Yoni eggs, and I actually popped one in right before we jumped on here because you know Kegels and whatnot. So Yoni eggs, we see them. What are they? Could you get some insight on what they are and how beneficial they are?
So yoni eggs, two things. Yoni eggs help also strengthen your muscles. So basically, when you're using yoni eggs, and there are different sizes of eggs as well, just think of it again. I relate it to working out of weights. They're like weights for your vagina. So
Okay.
it's pretty much when you're doing that Kegel, you're like trying to keep it in.
Hmm.
So like the more it weighs, the more you have to squeeze to kind of keep it in. I just tell people be very careful when you're ordering yoni eggs and just making sure that they're not porous, meaning when they're porous, they have like these tiny, like microscopic holes in them that when you wash, if you're not washing them properly, can actually lead to an infection. So you just want
Okay.
to be careful of where you're buying them from and how you're washing them.
Okay. Like soaking them in hot water, like scalding water. Is that okay?
Yes. What you don't want to use is you don't want to use like fragrance soaps or like anything Bath and Body Works or
Hmm.
anything that
Bleach.
can really irritate your vagina because you
Yeah.
got to think this is going in there and staying in there for an extended period of time. So you just
Uh-huh.
want to make sure that while you're trying to be healthy, you're not causing any issues on top of it.
Now, what does it mean when it just falls out? Like over a period of time, like you got it in, but then it just comes out. Does that mean like don't put it back in? Does that mean it's weak or is it strong?
So when it just comes out, now let me ask this question. Is it an egg that you've been using and then it just kind of falls out?
I'm sorry.
So, like, let's say, is this like a fresh new egg that is just like, oh, I put it in and it just came out?
No,
Oh, this is
just like
something that
when you're like using it and then eventually it falls out. Does that mean like we're done here?
move to the next step.
Move to the next one. Okay. It's like you finished
Like
grasshopper.
you've accomplished your goal.
So in regards to educating women on their bodies and whatnot, what are the most commonly asked questions that you feel women are um not ignorant about, but just have the most curiosity about?
You know what's funny? And this
Mm.
is this is exactly why I try to always center or remind women like worry about yourself and your needs first. Because a lot of questions that I get typically involve a partner. One
Mm-hmm.
big question I get is women who lack the security of writing. So they're like, I don't know if I'm writing right and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, by you consciously just thinking that while you're in a sexual act,
Yeah.
one, it kind of delays you from like being wet because you're so into like the stressor part.
Right.
Like, if, am I doing this right or blah, 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 because you're worried about is your partner pleased?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You get what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
one thing that I was surprised about is women were a little, I guess, ignorant to the different types of, I don't want to say infections that they could get and how easily they can get them.
Oh, for example.
BV.
Okay. Bacterial vaginosis, you guys.
And there being a misconception that if you get a BV or like a yeast infection, you're either dirty or I'm so sorry about that. You're
Oh, you
either
fine.
dirty or you don't clean your vagina right. And sometimes it's your male partner giving you these infections.
Ah! The gag is it's him, ladies.
Yeah, it's girl, it ain't you, it's him.
It ain't you, it's him.
So I'm gonna give you an example. Like if a guy doesn't have proper oral hygiene and he's eating you out, he could give you a yeast infection. He can give
Mm,
you TB very easily because he's literally giving you his bacteria.
yuck mouth can give you BV.
Exactly.
Ladies, did you hear that? No yuck mouth.
Well
Yuck
said.
mouth don't deserve pee. Cheers to that. Cheers and a squeeze, y'all. Cheers and squeeze.
I'm gonna give 3 squeezes to that. Yeah.
What? I had no idea about the yuck mouth transferring the germs.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So like, let's say you have a guy who has a sweet tooth. He's always eating candy. He's always eating junk food. He don't really take care of his mouth that much. You got to think all that bacteria is literally sitting in his mouth, and your mouth is full of bacteria anyway. So you just add it on to that. So now he want to eat you out. I don't care how good the head is. He want to eat you out. Like all that yeast feeds off of sugar. So now he's eating you out, putting artificial sugar. And if it's a woman who already has a poor diet and gut health, and the reason why I say gut health is because when you're taking vitamins and you're strengthening your immune system is linked to your vagina. So if your body is not able to defend against bacteria, the bacteria wins.
I've never. Okay, so what about when people use whipped cream in the bedroom and stuff? Is that a no? Are we sipping tea?
So
You guys,
this is what I say. If you want to keep it spicy, I'm all for whipped cream and spiciness and all of that. Just be very, very mindful. Like if you're gonna do that, like whipped cream on again, whipped cream like on top of your vagina, between like the creases of your thighs, just for that like licking sensation, cool. But like directly on your clitoris and all
put
of
it
that,
in and
I
out.
don't know. But if you do that, just make sure you're not going to bed or putting on your panties and going out. Make sure you're taking a shower right after to just clean that area, and more than likely you will be fine. But if using that, then it's just like, oh yeah, that was a great session. You just go to pee thinking that, oh, I'll flush it out with urine.
Yeah.
No, you gotta wash your vagina.
Wash. Cloth, ladies, cloth and water, okay? Speaking of peeing after sex, would you mind elaborating on why that's so necessary for women to pee after sex?
Absolutely. So what happens is, again, men not sometimes, a lot of times, men carry bacteria, right? So let's say you're having sex with somebody, they just got out of work, their dick don't stink or nothing, but he still has bacteria. His legs, his thighs are rubbing together. There's moisture in between their thighs, and when there's moisture between your thighs, that's where kind of bacteria grows.
Okay.
So even if there's no scent, bacteria still could be growing there. So let's say you guys have sex. What happens is, especially if it's unprotected, when you pee, okay, let me put this down.
Oh, we getting in it now.
You have to think, when the dick is going inside of you, it is going upward and inward.
Yes.
Right? So now the bacteria is upward and inward. What happens when you go to pee? Your pee is coming downward in a downward stream. Yes. So you're pushing bacteria out. And what happens is with urine and a woman's pH, your pH and all that, when it's balanced, it can kill the bacteria with your good bacteria. So it's always important to pee.
So is that what the medical professionals mean when they say your vagina cleans itself? About the pee cleaning, killing all that, flushing it out?
Not only pee, but like your pH, like your pH.
Okay. Yes. And what's the number for the pH the women need to be around? Is there a range or a specific number for the pH?
Do not quote me.
I feel like it's 7. No,
it's like between like a 5 and a 7.
I'm feeling 7 too.
You don't want to be too acidic, and you don't want to like go all the way alkaline.
Right.
But you just want it in the middle.
Bobbing in the middle. Yeah. Okay. So self-cleaning vagina. And on that note, in regards to like using perfume soaps and perfume pads and perfume tampons, like I remember like just seeing some girls use that like growing up, and it's like, girl, like think about this. Yeah, the summer's eve spray, and like
no.
What sayeth you about the feminine products?
Okay. As far as tampons go, so I have endometriosis.
Okay.
And this is actually the first time this has ever happened to me. Fun fact, I didn't start using tampons until I was about 26.
Is there a certain reason why?
I don't know. I don't know if the first time I did it wrong when I was younger, but I
Yeah.
always felt like I was walking with like a little dick inside me, and it just felt so weird.
Yeah, I feel you.
I was, but then I got used to it. So I have endometriosis, and I think I experienced toxic shock from a tampon for the first time, and
Yeah.
that shit hurts. I was out with my friend. I was like, "You have to bring me to Walgreens right now so I can get some pads."
Yeah.
And as soon as I took the tampon out, all this pressure like just released from my stomach. I don't know what, I felt sick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say tampons, I like to alternate. So at night I don't wear them. I call them, I wear
Yeah.
my diapers, aka my
Yeah.
pads.
Yeah. Just
If
let
I'm
it
going
flow.
somewhere cute, I'll put a tampon in because it's gonna be a few hours.
Right.
But having that inside of you drives
Mm-mm.
the blood out.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable. It's not the most comfortable thing, you know. Of course, you don't have that diaper smearing blood on your cheeks as you're still walking everywhere, but
No,
it's not the most comfortable.
no.
And I want to say, like, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know, but I want to say, like, tampons and stuff, it wasn't invented by women. Like, all this stuff was invented by men. I feel like,
Ooh, that's
yeah,
interesting.
I was listening to another podcast and I want to say, yeah, like the whole cardboard thing, like that's all a man's idea. That's why all this crap hurts us because it's not from a woman's perspective. So that's why you have like these new sanitary product companies coming out because it's like women founded and stuff like that and just takes more of our consideration into it. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But it makes sense because men was doing everything, you know?
I'm actually
So
looking into that. I'm actually really interested.
hmm so in regards to like being curious about sex, I know you're appealing to the women, but do you have men that come to you as well? And if
Oh
so,
God,
what
yes.
type of questions are they asking?
I do have men who come to me. Some of it is just, hey, I'm here inquiring for my wife, and I'm like, okay, what?
She made me come. No pun
No,
intended.
not even. They'll tell me, hey, she's struggling with XYZ. How can I support her from a male perspective? Or some men will ask me, like, hey, and it's kind of refreshing to see how men are receptive to even being aware of how they
Yeah.
should be for their partner.
That is so like not cute, but like wow, that's so sweet how they're like considering their partner. You know, it's not just about sex, but more so a connection. Make sure each person is
Yeah.
getting what they need so that they both can have a fulfilled experience.
Yeah, because men should be educated too. And I do, I am planning to really start to educate men as well. The reason why I focus so much on women is because we're the ones who kind of suffer the most. Because by nature, we're nurturers, so we want to please
Yeah,
in our DNA.
yeah,
But what men need to understand, when you please us and we're satisfied, now we're going to kick it into overdrive because we're happy. When a woman's
yes.
happy, she'll do anything for you.
Do
So,
whatever.
so when she does it by obligation, it's just kind of like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna make sure you're happy. But when the bedroom is over and you're sitting there and you busted a nut and I'm still there horny as hell,
Yeah.
your breakfast in the morning ain't gonna be that great if you get
Okay.
breakfast
No.
in the morning.
If you're lucky.
It causes us to compromise a little less because we're so unsatisfied. But when you
Mm-hmm.
focus on us, your needs in and outside the bedroom is taken care of. So in a weird way, I do take care of the men.
Yeah. I love that. And I see didn't you recently have a virtual instructional class where your boyfriend was a part of it? Did I was that is
Oh
that
wait,
correct?
you see
Huh?
me say how to suck dick? Uh, which class?
Was it the sucking class?
Yeah,
How to suck D?
yeah.
Would you share with our audience what that consisted of?
uh, so basically, what I spoke about is tapping into your own energy.
Okay.
A lot of women, I feel, go into it with a perception of either they have to look like a porn star, do it like a porn star, all these, I don't know, ideologies about it.
That's what the
But
rap songs be telling us to do. F like a
exactly,
porn star.
like, you
The
know what?
pressure.
I try to reverse the role where I tell them, suck the dick for you, not for him.
Okay. Yes.
So what I mean by that is when you're sucking him, try to tap into your energy, because if you think about it, in that moment, you are in control of his body.
Yes.
You can do what you want at that point. So take
Yes.
it as a, you know what happened? This is my moment to really, that's why if you pay attention to the rap songs, a lot of the female rappers will say things like, while you're riding him or sucking him good, that's your opportunity to ask for a bag. The reason they
Mm.
say that is because that's where he's at his weak point, because you're in control.
Yes. And just owning that power and be like, screw it, you know?
Yeah, so then we go into different positions and what the positions mean. For example, when you're like on your knees and he's standing over you, it's a position of power for him and it shows you to be submissive, but
Mm-hmm.
still in that submissive role, you're in control of his body. So
Mm-hmm.
your ego is kind of being fed a little bit because you can control his reactions, and
Yeah.
his ego is fed at the same time because he thinks he's controlling you.
Mm-hmm. Like, now, player, I run this.
Period,
Tuck,
period.
tuck, suck, suck.
So I just show different techniques, things that women experience. Where one thing a lot of women say is, my mouth hurts a lot during it. So that I teach them like different techniques where I explain why it hurts, different things that you can do,
Uh-huh.
and how to turn off your gag reflexes. I feel like that's why everybody took the class, but it's cool though.
What? There's a way to turn off your gag reflex?
Easy.
And you teach these to the people? You guys, if you want to learn how to turn off your gag reflex, follow Coco right now. Okay? Shoot her a DM. Get it poppin'.
It's so funny because that's really why people, I feel like everybody who took the class are like, so we just want to make sure that we still getting like the gag reflex thing. I'm like, dang, I just said hi. We just got the room.
Palm your tits, Sheila.
What
We'll
is
get
it?
to that in a minute.
I'm like, and I did it multiple times because I'm just like, you know what? But it is available for replay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't catch the class, you can catch
Uh,
the replay.
there you go, you guys. The replay is available. So you could turn off the gag reflex, but I heard you can make the girls squirt too. Are we squirting? Are we splash water falling too?
It's so funny. I cannot tell you. Every Friday on my Instagram story, I post Freak Friday.
Oh,
So it's pretty much I post a story up and they can ask whatever question they want. And
uh-huh.
either that night or the next day I go live and I answer the question. It
Nice.
never fails. Every week somebody asks about squirting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, listen. I'm not ludicrous. I cannot make y'all do splash and waterfalls, but I could teach you how to make your man do it and how to do it yourself.
Oh shoot. So there's a whole technique to it.
There's a technique. It's not even only technique, it's really mindset. It's
Mm-hmm.
mindset, emotion, body, how well you're able to just be in the moment and be present, and how
Mm-hmm.
well you're being pleased at that time.
And what would you say how important breathing is, deep intentional breathing is during sex?
How can I say this? I think it's a okay. It is important depending on the setting, because
Oh,
for me, I'm a freak. So I am like, ooh, let's go. It's very rare that I like, not very rare, but I have to be like in my feelings for like slow, sensual sex. Then, yes, it's very important. And I feel like by having all these endorphins releasing and then
yeah.
taking in that oxygen, it does magnify the
Okay.
organ.
Uh-huh.
I will say that.
Cause you're relaxing, especially if you know you have an anxiety and you're like holding your breath because you're riding. You're like, oh my god, am I doing it right? Like you're not breathing. Like go into that rhythmic flow of deep intentional breathing. You know?
Yes. And you know what's funny? I think that also needs to be talked about. When you're having sex, being intentional and being present. I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people aren't present because it then, especially if you're married, it almost turns into like an obligation.
Yeah, it
It's like
does.
when
Some
you go
people
to work,
schedule it.
you clock in, it's just like, listen, I'm just here to do my job.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
it.
sex kind of turns like that in for people, especially if you're married. So I
Yeah.
try to tell people, don't lose yourself, always remain within you and present.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, try not to worry about what you need to do or what it's not in your control. Can you do that right now? No. Like, one of my favorite mantras when I'm meditating is I'm not there, I'm here. Because I find myself drifting. I'm not there, I'm here. Oh shit, that I'm not there, I'm here. It just always brings me back.
You know what? I'm gonna start implementing that because I
Hmm.
feel like I
It
need to.
works. It works. Like when I just find myself drifting, I can't pay that bill right now. I can't have that conversation with this person right now. It's
Mhm.
gonna have to wait. I'm not there. I'm here. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, so simple yet effective. So now shifting. Okay, we were talking about adults and stuff. Have you had a chance to get an insight on the youth and their mindset about sex and how straight up clueless they are about sex, but they think they know everything? Do you have an insight on that?
So very, very funny. And this is something I kind of want to introduce. I
Mm-hmm.
just have to plan a way to do it where I feel like, especially for Black parents, to start having sexual conversations with their
Absolutely.
children at a
Yes.
younger age. Here's
Yes.
why I say younger age. People think a sex talk is introducing sex and vagina and having babies. No. Having a sex talk, especially as young Black children, can
Mm-hmm.
prevent sexual abuse, can actually
Yes.
help you detect things earlier so that you don't have to raise a trauma where they have to go to therapy to heal from something or be so naive where they're caught up in a bad situation. And I will tell you exactly why I say that. I have a friend of mine who has I want to say his son maybe at the time was 7 or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was cold and they bought long johns for him that were a little too big. And
Okay.
what ended up happening was he kept having to pull his long johns up. So
Okay.
his dad told him, be mindful of your long johns, they're too big. Pull them up, don't let them fall, whatever. So goes to school. Of course, kids being kids, playing at recess, the long johns are falling, he's picking them up. So I guess the teacher had seen him pick the long johns up or whatever, went
Mm-hmm.
and reported that he exposed himself to another child, of course, a white little girl.
Ah.
So they went through and principal and did all this and contacted the girl's parents way before they contacted the Black child's parents.
Wow.
So they went through all these motions, and the ironic part was the mom was involved in like the PTA.
Uh-huh.
So they questioned the little girl. They asked her, did he blah, blah, blah? Never asked the little boy anything.
Just making them, yeah.
So then his parents are like, wait a minute. So they spoke to him and they were like, did anything happen at school? And he's just like, no, like confused.
Yeah.
And when everything had transpired, they were pissed because it's like, why didn't you question him? Why didn't you
Mm-hmm.
ask him, what's the issue? What happened? You guys questioned the little girl, her parents, everybody, and then we got noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So then that turned into a thing, and I'm just like, wow, you essentially just labeled this Black child as a pedophile.
Straight up. Yeah.
No questions, nothing. Boom, there's a label. So it's really important to have sex talks with your children. And
Yeah.
in the Black community, we cover shit up by
Yeah.
saying, it's your cookie, it's
Mm-hmm.
your blah, blah, blah.
But JJ.
And I used to be a nanny, and this little boy, I said this on another podcast, he was 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I was changing his diaper, and he points and he goes, penis. I was like, little, what?
Right.
I was like, did you just swear at me?
Uh-huh.
But his parents taught him his body parts because
Yeah.
they knew nannies and whatever.
Yeah.
If you touch him in his penis incorrectly, at 1.5, he could tell you exactly where he was touched.
Yeah. Autonomy.
So if that was a Black child and my child's talking to me and they're like, oh, Uncle John, he touched my cookies. Let's say I
Mm-hmm.
gave her cookies for snacks every single day.
Right. And
Now
cookies is a
I'm
good
thinking like,
thing.
oh, so your uncle's stealing your snacks, and I'm laughing it off. And now I may say something like, oh, it's okay, honey. He can have your cookies. He could touch your cookies.
Wow.
Now I just kind of you are thinking, you're telling me your uncle's
Two
touching your
different.
vagina. I'm thinking it's cookies, and then I tell you it's okay.
Yeah. And encourage it.
But if you said Uncle John touched my vagina, first of all, it's either the police gets Uncle John first or me.
Yeah.
And now I can act. But
Yeah.
now I could have just added 2 years of abuse to my child's life without knowing.
All because you don't want to have a conversation.
Yep.
You don't want to make them grow up too fast, but you got them playing WAP playing in the car with them, you know?
That's
like,
why
make up your mind.
When you're Black, you have to do things differently.
You have to. It just comes with the responsibility, you know? Cheers to that.
2 Kegels.
And the Kegel squeeze, of course. Wow, I didn't even consider how two totally different conversations can be going on just from, you know, identify something as a wee cookie. You know, I'm not calling a spade, call it what it is. You know, give the children a sense that, like, because that's what I love about my mom. Shout out to my mama Aries, Mama Chi.
And Mama Aries.
She from a very young age, we're very close. She always kept it real with me about sex. She told me about her experiences. She told me about other people's experience. Like, you know, based on the decisions you make, this is what could happen, you know? So whenever I went to high school, whenever I went to college, I didn't mind checking a guy if I felt uncomfortable. I didn't mind like saying, hey, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like going off on somebody because my mama already gave me the rundown. Like, okay, people will try A, B, and C. So this is how you should respond, you know? So that's one of the most important things I love about our relationship and why we're so close, because since you keep it real with me, I'm gonna keep it real with you when I get older and I'm in these situations and I don't know who I could talk to because my friends just as naive and inexperienced as me, and I don't have anyone else that I could talk to. So the person I want to talk to is my mom, my guardian, you know?
Exactly. So we just need to keep that like open door where it's not just, oh, don't get pregnant. I don't want you being like these little, like, it's not always about being a hoochie. Sometimes, and a lot of times, people end up being hoochies because they don't have that open door conversation.
Absolutely.
Because they evolved into it because, like, this is the only thing I know now.
There's so much judgment and restriction, you know, like don't come home with the baby. Okay, so if I happen to get pregnant, you want me to have an abortion, right? Or you want me to deliver it and throw it in the dumpster, right? Because I can't come home with the baby. You told me that you're not gonna love me through it, so
Or they run away.
Or they run away because you don't want me to come home, right? So I'm not gonna come home. Like they listen to what they hear. Exactly. They're responding accordingly, you know. And like I was watching this the other day about the dude with the satanic Lil Nas X, his video, that whole controversy. I'm not gonna get into it, but I saw I think it was Shaka Bars. He said it's not the kids' fault, it's the adults' fault because we're leading them. We're showing them what's okay and what's not okay and stuff like that, you know? So it's like, don't put all this on the kids to say, oh, you're being fast, you got somebody pregnant. No, how did you educate them? How did you prepare them, you know?
I 100% agree. So that's kind of like where I want to do some type of something with parents where I'm just, you know, relaying the reasons why. And I feel like a lot of times as a community, we're just so busy and moving and thinking about our finances, our kids, our this, that we don't stop to think deeper into like, well, she's 8. Why am I talking about sex with her? Because a girl could get a period at 9 years old.
Yeah. And pregnant at 10.
Exactly. So why not? My question is, why not have the conversation?
Yeah. So they're not so fearful, like, oh my God, because like I started my cycle at a sleepover, you know, but I didn't freak out because my mama had already gave me the rundown. She already knew it to space. Some people start their period and they just like put on, like, they just try to handle it themselves because they weren't told on how to handle it.
Exactly.
And then parents wonder why you don't talk to me? Why you didn't come to me? Well, look how you made me feel.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like, you know, until after the fact, they're like, well, why didn't you just like, can we just think about all the actions that led up to this? And
like, first of all, look at you right now. Like, look how you're mad at me because you're making it about you when it's about me, you know, like parents got to get out of that. And so hopefully there's a shift because, you know, mental wellness is starting to be more accepted, especially in the Black community. So, you know, hopefully we will get these conversations talking, but I think absolutely you should definitely do something with the parents that just don't know what to say and let them know, like, you know, like whatever you have planned, absolutely, I'm all for it. And like, especially with the kids, because like, I'm not going to get into this like too much either, but like the suicide rates with kids and stuff, I just don't remember it being this intense when
Yeah.
I was younger. I know people say social media broadcast stuff now more frequently, but I still don't think it was.
Monitoring.
I'm sorry.
Who's monitoring these things?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Who's really monitoring, So it just sucks that, like, we have all these kids going through so much. They're like overly stimulated. First of all, social media in itself is enough, but then like the free access to porn, like how some people say Twitter's the best source for porn, and there's like more and more. Just, yeah, like apparently there's a lot of clips that be floating out on Twitter and stuff, but I just can't imagine being a kid nowadays. And then, you know, babies having babies and not being there for the kids. They too busy want to have fun, run the streets and stuff, and rap the most popular verse with their kids on a TikTok, all that stuff. So
And it's just
it
like
just,
my son can rap an entire Blueface verse word for word. But
mm-hmm.
why can't he say his ABCs?
Come on. Come on. If you're
Please.
triggered, because it's true.
If you triggered, it's you.
Mm-hmm. If you triggered, it's you.
And it's not even to point a finger, but it's just to be more conscious of, you know what? My son really can rap a whole, and he really can't. Okay, you know what? And it's never, I just, I think with the Black community, there's always a pointing a finger,
Mm-hmm.
and that needs to stop, but just helping people recognize, like, hey, this is your child.
Yeah.
Please. But, you know,
You know.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, no, he should know his ABCs. He's
Call
five.
it what it is. And like not even just pointing the finger, but also just giving it to Jesus and letting it go. Just
Yeah.
praying about it. Oh, just pray about it. Just
I,
pray about it.
just like, okay, but if we want to sit there and use the Bible, doesn't it also say faith without work is dead?
Come on. You got to put some action behind it, people.
Yeah. So, I ain't. I
I
love.
just like also like another thing, there's like a big thing with TikTok. Like a lot of these kids learning sexual stuff on TikTok.
Mhm.
Like there's like a hidden TikTok or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
Where they're like exchanging all this sexual stuff amongst each other. So I just can't imagine. Like we used to pass notes in class, like we didn't have all this, like people
What?
broadcasting somebody's first sexual experience to the whole high school. Like I just can't imagine.
What? Okay, that's a new one.
TikTok, yeah, TikTok. The kids going crazy.
But listen. Mm, mm.
I can't. So the babies need us. So if you feel inspired by anything we were saying in regards to the kids, needing more mentorship in regards to sex and guidance, and we just need more mentors. So if you love the kids need us, y'all. Step into your power, help out the community.
Absolutely.
So in regards to, you mentioned earlier the hoe phase. Would you mind elaborating on that? How you got to that point, what it consisted of, what you learned from it, how it benefited you?
Oh Lord.
For any listener that's on the consideration of a whole phase for Hot Girl Summer.
Okay, well, since you said it like that. So how did I get into my whole face? Okay, so I got out of a relationship.
Okay.
I was just kind of like, I really don't want a relationship.
It was the Capricorn, that relationship?
Mm-hmm.
So,
So I told myself, you know what? The next person I get involved with, I really want, he has to be established,
okay.
financially well off. I have to have a good time with this person when we're together. It has to be beneficial for me first.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to be a relationship. Because I feel like, okay, I was discovering myself, but I wanted someone to have fun with too.
Yes, keep it light.
I ended up meeting this guy, and he was way older than me.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Oh, he could have like he was way older than me, but black don't crack. So he looked like he was in his like late 30s, but he wasn't.
But he wasn't.
He was older, y'all.
Come on,
Older.
seasoned meat. Shout out to the seasoned meat listening in.
He was so like he was fall off the bone rib season.
Come on.
So and that actually was my first flued out situation where he lived in a different state.
Uh-huh.
Fly me out. Sex was bomb. We had great conversation, and it was fun. It was great.
Yeah.
We had this understanding where it's just like when I'm with you, um, I respect you. You know, you have all my attention. But once I fly back home and you do what you do, we just keep an open, honest communication. And
Yeah.
that actually ended up turning into a three-way situationship because he was also talking to another young lady,
Uh-huh.
and that was also my first threesome. So I was just like, this cool. This good.
You gonna make me push my Yoni egg out? Dang it, that was
See how I added little twists?
you added the twist.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun. It was great. It was really a three-way situation.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned from it was I started to understand why people choose the polygamous route.
Yeah.
I understood the importance of communication because now when you're dealing with two people, and it was what I loved about it was he was honest. We were honest from the beginning. He's like, I am talking to someone else.
Right.
She knows about you, you know about her. Then we all got on the phone and we talked, whatever, saw what the vibe was, and we're just like, okay, as long as everybody's like open and honest with what they're doing, because ain't
Yeah.
nobody out here trying to catch no STD.
Okay.
um, and it worked out.
Yes. Was it a one-time thing or did y'all have like an ongoing friendship?
It was an ongoing friendship until I got into a relationship, and I was like, I don't think it's fair to continue to communicate. And I
Okay.
have a partner where I'm trying to like, this was like my fun whole phase, like my okay, this is great, and
Mhm.
I didn't want it to get murky
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, you're talking to your friend, the one that you had a threesome with. Oh.
Uh-huh, exactly. I don't want to have to keep explaining to you, reaffirming you that you got nothing to worry about. Let's
It's
just
crazy because like he's not even like the type that needs like reaffirming. It's just how would I feel if he was talking to a girl that he had a threesome with?
true. A shoe on the other
I think that
foot.
would be respectful of him.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because we would go out on dates in public, me, him, and her, and no one
Uh-huh.
ever knew like what he's like. Oh, he's all over her, but she doesn't seem to be. But now he's all over, and she's not. What?
Right.
So I
What's
was
the dynamic? Like the
people,
Spider-Man meme.
the men would look at him like, man, bro, how you do it? And women
Mm.
would just kind of have like that, what? The
So
hell?
with him being older, was there like one sexual thing he taught you? Like one thing you appreciate with being with the older man?
He
Like,
taught he taught me how to be more carefree
come on. Okay. How so?
because he was down for whatever.
Do you recall his sign by chance?
He was a Gemini.
Gemini. Okay. Yeah. Come on, air signs.
I always have great conversations with Geminis. He was a Gemini, and bedroom wise, he taught me to just be free, like
Hmm.
just fuck it. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where like my sexualness of just being very very open started.
Hmm. I love
Like
that.
I would walk around like I would never do that before. In front of my
Yeah.
partner, I would never walk around naked. I was always wrapped up in a towel. With him, I
Hmm.
was butt ass naked all the time.
Yes. Free.
I was free. And
You
like
remember?
my other
Uh-huh.
partner, I would do because I always say I was a stripper in my past life. That's why I
Ye-
love stallion. But my
Yes.
other partner, like I would twerk or dance or try to be free, and he would just look at me like I'm crazy, like, can you stop? Blah blah blah. And with the other guy, he was just like, yeah, you get yeah, and I was just like, oh, this
Make
is
it clap while you at it.
yeah.
Hype me up.
So it's just very interesting, like how like the dynamics started changing. But
Yeah. I love that. Do you remember her sign by chance?
I
Your buddy?
say, what's the sign after Scorpio?
Sagittarius. They're also very carefree too.
I think she was a Sag. Yes.
After Thanksgiving, right before Christmas, inner time period
Mm-hmm.
in
And
there.
it was during my whole phase I learned like I really have fire ass vagina.
Come on, cheers to that and a Kegel squeeze or five. Now, what is your definition of WAP good ass pussy, good vagina. What does that mean?
So, you want to have the wop? No, I'm kidding.
You don't
So,
have the wop. What?
to me, it's not an aesthetic thing at all.
Okay.
Here's what was the first confirmation for me. My vagina is very well lubricated
Come on.
because of how I eat and how I'm very mindful of what I put in my body, my vitamins, all of that.
Yeah.
Not only that is I enjoy the moment.
Mm.
I am very in tune with my body. So I feel like when a man is having sex with a woman and she's literally just enjoying herself,
Yeah.
not because of him, but she is enjoying herself. When you
Yeah.
enjoy yourself, it literally reflects in the energy in the
Mm.
room and through
Yeah.
your vagina. That's number one. Number two, so okay. So all right, we're gonna get a little graphic.
Okay.
So
We're fine.
she you know your vagina's fire when another woman says your vagina's fire.
Oh, come on. She's like, I took my hat, girl.
In front of the same guy you're both fucking.
Yeah.
So she was just like other women, like she's been in situations with other women before. She
Yeah.
was just like other women have very chalky vaginas.
Okay.
She's just like your vagina literally like has no smell,
Uh-huh.
is like water.
Yeah.
I was like,
Water. Shout out to Kalani.
thank you. So in that, like the fact that, and it also allowed me to like be able to like see like, okay, what are other women's vaginas like? Because I feel like as women, sometimes we don't have like anything to compare it to. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
is it good? Like, is it supposed to look like this? Or
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
after that, my pussy confidence went through the roof.
Yes. That. Do you have a tip for anyone that's interested in initiating a threesome, or not even a threesome, an experience with another woman, but not quite sure what to say, how to propose it because of fear of rejection? What are your thoughts on that?
Let the energy lead.
Okay.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's not about, hey, I want to try. I tell people like when you're leading like a conversation, lead it with yourself first, where it's just like, oh my gosh. So depending on how comfortable you are with the person, like, oh, I've always wanted to, I was always curious about XYZ, but I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that? Now I didn't put you in a situation, but now I know what your thoughts are about it first.
What are your views? Yeah. What's your
Exactly.
perspective?
So if they're like, I would never, that's now you know.
Mm-hmm. Don't even try her. She's not down.
Exactly.
Yeah, just go with that. But if they're like, oh, no judgment, or like down for it, then it's like, okay, don't give up.
But then exactly, don't give up. And then
But
I would just kind of be like, so like if you were like, what would your type be?
mm-hmm.
Question them first in a very general sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes us when we gonna figure it out, like, girl, you want me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only a matter of time.
So if your guys are more like, you just gotta be upfront because they just
Yeah, they're they are.
women ask, why are you asking? Really?
Mhm.
Well, who do you have your eye on? Da-da-da-da. So by her questioning you, it's kind of like, you interested?
Did you squirt with the Capricorn?
No.
No, he didn't teach. Okay. Cool. So just to be more carefree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she had a carefree energy as well. I love that you were so vulnerable and shared that. That is amazing because I think because like my podcast is about spirituality, energy, and everything. So when you're going through your spiritual journey, sex is a big part of that. Because like for example in religion, it's basically you don't do it until you get married, right? There's just this hard no on that, right? But with spirituality, there's just a little more fluidity with it. Do you think sex is spiritual?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sex is like a dance.
It is a dance, like a Venetian waltz. I think that's what it's called.
It's a dance, and you gotta know like who's leading
Mm-hmm.
because you can't both be leading because there's gonna be a tug of war.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fighting, stepping on toes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta breathe, follow the energy, be free, be light, keep it light,
Yeah.
and just be confident. Like confidence is a big part of sex too. Yeah.
Well, yes, it is.
Like, act like you know what you're doing.
Shoot. And sometimes, even if you don't know what you're doing, own the fact that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's
It's,
true. Yeah, just own whatever it is, just own it. Be full 100 with it.
it's just like, I know I'm here for the ride. I just don't know how to drive stick shift. So we're going to learn together. But we
Like,
here.
can you teach me?
Like,
So, Coco, please let the people know where they can find you, where they can follow you, what projects do you have coming up.
ooh. So you guys can follow me on Instagram at the Conversational Freak. I always have replay classes, guides, all of that. But I am coming out with something.
Oh.
I'm just gonna let y'all know. This is the first place I'm saying it.
Ah, exclusive.
Exclusive. So I am going to have a podcast.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, it's girl, so much work. But I'm gonna have a podcast, and it's really going to just go deeper into the sex talk. Really, really cool, fun segments. We're gonna have something where you guys can submit your questions so that I can answer them on the podcast and even during like a few lives. We're working on like some type of membership so that it's more of a safer space than Instagram.
Yeah.
And yeah, and a few other things, but contracts have to be signed before.
Come on, contract money.
Where the money resides.
Where the money resides. Where the money resides.
So those are the few things that are coming up within the next 2 to 3 months.
Fuck it up, Coco. Fuck it up. And your Instagram handle, please.
The Conversational Freak on Instagram. And there you could just find everything. Link in my bio.
Awesome. And it'll take you to like your email and all that stuff where they can get in contact with you.
Yes.
I love it. Congratulations on the podcast. And yes, so needed. So very needed.
Thank you.
Hell yes, girl. Oh, one last thing. Who give me your big three of the freakiest signs in your opinion based on your research.
My research and my experience.
Both.
Freakiest sign.
Or I guess like before you answer that, what is your definition of freaky? Because I think there are kind of different.
Freaky is open, very, very open-minded,
yes.
Comfortable in themselves. And even if their partner's into something that they're not, they're either willing to try it or they respect it without the judgment.
Okay, there we go. Freaky.
Freaky signs to me, Aries, Gemini, and Scorpio.
There we go. You've heard it here, you guys. Aries, Gemini, Scorpio. Get you one.
Get for real.
Or several, or all of them.
All of them.
Well, Coco, I'm gonna let you go. I know you said you had a hard stop today, so I just so grateful for your time. I have enjoyed you. You plugged your stuff. You taught us so many great things. You're amazing. Your podcast is gonna do awesome. So congratulations in advance.
So much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Of course. I appreciate you. And you guys, please make sure you give her a follow. Remember, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. Please follow CheChe Babe, CheCheBabe. Also, the My Virgo Friend podcast page. Follow me there. Send me your questions at CheChe@myvirgofriend.com. If you have any questions, give me some feedback on the episode. Let me know how you're feeling, what you want to see. If there's any other guests you would like to see, let me know. I want to know all about that. Let me know how the podcast is affecting your life. Is it affecting your life? All that good stuff. Just connect with me, okay? But again, thank you so much for listening in, Miss Coco. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you. Bye, y'all.